So when Brahmaji, we are in the third canto, 22nd chapter. We are discussing what we are just starting to discuss about the life of Kardama and Devhuti. So Vidurji inquires from the Maitreya about the life of Devhuti and Kardama, and in the reply to that, Maitreya ji starts saying that Brahmaji, he requested Kardam Muni. Kardam Muni was a brahmachari, and so Lord Brahma requested him that he should get married. So usually, when someone is asked to get married, the procedure is that he starts looking for a proper girl for a marriage, right? But here, Kardam Muni underwent a severe austerity for attaining the Supreme Lord. Why? Because he was thinking that getting married is a big thing. Getting married is a big thing, right? Huh? And because one has to stay with a partner for the whole life. And what if my partner is a wrong person? So my whole life is going to be miserable. So he was a God conscious person. He was a Krishna conscious person. So he wanted a partner who could support him in all circumstances. So instead of we looking for a proper girl for marriage, Kardamani thought, let me ask the Supreme Lord. Hmm? So let me ask the Supreme Lord directly. And Kardam Muni, he did intense tapasya for so many thousands of years. Now this is the time of Satya Yoga. So he performed tapasya for 10,000 years. And finally he attained the Supreme Lord. He appeared on the Garuda and he manifested. He gave his darshan to Kardam Muni. And he was so pleased actually with Kardam Muni's devotion, his sincerity. I mean, he could have easily avoided doing this, but he did that because he was a sincere person. And the Lord was so pleased with him that when seeing Kardam Muni's devotion, the Lord started shedding tears, and that tears fell on the ground, and that became Bindu Sarovar. So Kardam Muni, he requested that, my dear Lord, he glorified the Supreme Lord's form, and he said that people attain you. I mean, people worship you to get out of the cycles of birth and death. But see, I'm a lusty person, and I'm asking you for a girl for marriage. Please forgive me for this. But what to do? I'm such conditioned soul. Please help me. So the Supreme Lord, he said, don't worry. You will become 3 days from now, Swayamva Manu, along with his wife and so many other rishis, they will come. And Swayamva Manu will come with his daughter Devhuti. And she is a perfect match for your situation. She'll be very devoted to you. She'll serve very nicely. She'll take good care of you. And she'll not be an obstacle for your path of self-realization, but she'll be a boon to you. So Kardam Muni offered prostrated obeisances to the Lord, and the Lord disappeared from the vision. But before the Lord could actually disappear, the Lord said that I am so pleased with you. You haven't asked this boon from me, but I am so pleased. I'm so pleased with your devotional service that I want to become your son. We have seen so many personalities who have prayed to the Lord for becoming a son, but here is a Lord who wants to become Kardam Muni's son. Interesting. So Kardam Muni, he as per the instructions of the Lord, he waits there, and 3 days after 3 days as per the Lord desired, Swayamva Manu and his wife comes along with their daughter Devahuti. And when Kardam Muni comes there, he sees, when Swayamva Manu comes there, he sees that Kardam Muni is very effulgent, very simple living. He was staying in a simple hut. And he was performing his morning rituals of Agnihotra and everything. And he was just relaxing. And Swayamva Manu, when he comes there, now he is coming from a very opulent family, Baba. Swayam Manu, Sakshat Manu Maharaj. His kingdom is huge kingdom, all kinds of opulences. And here he is going to offer his daughter to a person who doesn't have a proper house to stay. But wait, you'll figure out who is more opulent. So Kardam Muni, seeing Kardam Muni, Kardam Muni relaxing and even so Swayam Manu, when he went and saw him, Swayam Manu went and sat down. Sat down wherever he was. He just went and sat down and he offered his respects to Kardam Muni. And he glorified that you are such a sadhu. You are such a great soul that the Lord inspired me that I should give I should come here and take your association. And Kardam Muni started glorifying Swayambha Manu. They're saying that Swayambha Manu, because of you, the people in this world are following the path of Dharma. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult. You are guiding them actually. You are protecting all of us. And he said that Swayambha Manu, that it is my good fortune that I am getting an opportunity to have your darshan. And Swayambha Manu also, in fact, started glorifying Kardam Muni, that Kardam Muni's personalities like you are very, very rare on the planet. Actually, sadhus are very, very rare. Sadhus, pure devotees, are very, very rare on this planet. So if one gets an opportunity to come in association of such great personalities, one should give up everything and give up all kinds of work, all kinds of responsibilities can be given up to go and associate with a saintly person like Kardam Muni. And he is saying that you are a Brahmana, we are the Kshatriyas. And the Lord has made such arrangement that the Kshatriyas and the Brahmanas, they work together for the benefit of the society and also for their own benefit. So I have a humble request to you, my dear Kardam Muni. Since I have heard that you are looking for an appropriate girl for marriage. And I understand that you haven't taken a vow of Nastic Brahmacharya. So I have a humble proposal. Here is my daughter, who is the sister of Uttanapad and Priyavrat Maharaj. Why is he mentioning Priyavrat Maharaj, Uttanapad? Because they were kings. They were great personalities. So to let Kardam Muni know that she is coming from a very highly cultured family, that's why Swayambha Manu is introducing her as the as a sister of Priyavrat Maharaj and Uttanapad. And she said that Swayambha Manu said that Devahuti heard about your glories from Narad Muni. Devahuti heard about your glories from Narad Muni. And since the time she has heard about your glories, she was convinced that you are her husband, and she has devoted herself to you. And by the arrangement of the Lord, I am here. So kindly accept her in marriage. So Kardam Muni, seeing Devahuti, he also started glorifying Swayambha Manu and also his daughter, that Devahuti is so glorious, that she's a chaste lady. She has not, and I am willing to accept her in marriage. It is my good fortune that I am getting an opportunity. I'm getting fortunate that I will be marrying to your daughter Devahuti. She's so beautiful and she's very chaste, and she has not given any promise to anyone before. So everything is as per what I desire, and I'm very happily willing to accept her as my wife. But I have a condition. My condition is that after giving birth to the children, I will take sannyas. And as soon as so he made it very clear to the father-in-law that do not come later on behind me that why are you taking sannyas. As soon as I give children to your daughter, I will take sannyas. He made it very, very clear. So Swayambha Manu then handed over Devahuti to Kardam Muni, and then he left. Now Devahuti, she was born in a diamond spoon, I'll say. She was so opulent compared to what the situation was. She gave up her pride, gave up her ego, and she served Kardam Muni just like Bhavani served Lord Shiva. Bhavani is also coming from a very aristocratic family. But Lord Shiva, he sits under a tree. Personality who is the who is the Ishvara of this world, uh, who is the destroyer of this whole creation, who is an Acharya of a Sampradaya, who is the greatest of all the Vaishnavas. That personality, Lord Shiva, he doesn't have a house to stay, he stays under a tree. And and the Sati, or the later on Parvati, the daughter of Himalayas, she was living in a very aristocratic life, and she agreed to serve Lord Shiva. And similarly, the comparison made here is very appropriate because Devhuti also was coming from a similar background, very rich and aristocratic life. But she was very happily willing to serve Kardam Muni, a personality like Kardam Muni, who has attained perfection in life, already got darshan of the Lord. And Devhuti served Kardam Muni with humility, intimacy, with giving up her pride, giving up her lust, giving up her anger, everything. And she served him so that he could practice further spiritual life. She did not create any kind of disturbances to him that she wanted this, she wanted that. No, absolutely no. Kardam Muni even forgot. I mean, whatever was needed for his devotional services, she was been providing that very humbly. And Kardam Muni was so absorbed in his spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, that he completely forgot that there was someone like Devhuti. When he attained perfection, when he attained perfection, that one day he realized, and then he saw Devhuti, and then he remembered Manu Maharaj, that Manu Maharaj gave daughter Devhuti to me. And when she came, she was so beautiful. And now she was very thin. She was her. There was a thick layer of mud on her body. Her hair were maddened like a rock. And so when Kardam Muni saw that, he was so pleased with her devotional service. And he was very, very happy with her, that thank you so much. She said that whatever I have achieved in my life, everything I want to share with you. But then she said that you are pleased with me, you are satisfied with me, I am happy. I also have some desires. Can I express that? I said yes. That that enough of brahmachari life. I want a grahastha ashram. Can we now begin our household life? That was the first question she asked. Can you please start our household life? After so many years of marriage. So said yes. Let's begin the show. Kardam Muni, she Devhuti had unflinching faith in the husband. He said that you are more glorious than Brahma. You are more powerful than Brahma. She had that faith. And your life is not influenced by Mahamaya, your life is influenced by Yogmaya, Krishna's internal potency. So Kardam Muni immediately he manifested an aerial mansion. A small, not a small, a huge mansion. Have you seen a mansion? A big house with lot of uh, 5, 6, 7 storied buildings with gardens, with pools, with everything in it. All the luxury facilities. And he manifested that in the air. But Devhuti saw that, and then Devashi looked at herself, said that I am not fit to be going on that mansion with this ugly look of mine. So then Kardam Muni, understanding the desire of his wife, Kardam Muni was very potent to understand what is going on in the mind of others. So he went and told his wife, my dear wife, please come and go and take bath in that Bindu Sarovar. So as she proceeded towards Bindu Sarovar, she saw that inside the water there were houses in that Bindu Sarovar, and there were 1,000 maid servants waiting for her. And as soon as she went there, they came out saying that we are your servants and we want to serve you. So they took her and they gave her a dip in Bindu Sarovar. And then when she came out, she was more beautiful than she when she came to Kardamuni. And then all this ladies, they started giving her bath with essential oils and everything, and started doing her shringar. Uh, and when she was completely ready, they showed her how beautiful she was looking, and immediately when she saw herself in the mirror, then she immediately thought of her husband, and then she was brought in front of the husband, and then uh, Kardamuni and Dehuti, they climbed on the aerial mansion, and they traveled not only around the Sumeru mountain but all across the universe. They travel all across the universe for hundreds and hundreds of years. And this 1,000 maid servants were serving both of them for so much amount of time. And the time passed, the time passed so quickly that 100 autumns passed by, nobody knew. So uh, after traveling all across the world, going through all the demigods planets and everywhere, even the demigods were actually, they're envious of seeing the opulence of Kardam and Dehuti. They are thinking, oh my God, their life is more aristocratic and more luxurious than us. Huh? And so they finally, after roaming around, they finally reached their own hermitage, place where they had a small hut. And there, Kardamuni expanded himself into 9 forms. He was a yogi, powerful yogi, and who has attained perfection. He expanded himself in 9 forms, and he actually impregnated Dehuti with in 9 forms. And Dehuti gave. Now this is the mystic power of uh, Kardamuni, that the children were born, and as soon as they were born, they were full grown. They were fully grown. So he did not want to go through that, that that cycle of what the household life used to go through. Hmm? Because he said enough of a lot of things happened, so I need to take sannyas. So he was a mystic person. So he did all this. So when she got 9 daughters, she was Kardamani thought, wow, very nice. So Devati, you have your children with you. So now I wish to go and take sannyas. So I'm going. So as soon as Kardamani was about to go, she started crying. She started saying, my dear husband, why are you leaving me in such situation? What happened? You have given me 9 daughters, and they will get married and they will go. Who will take care of me? Said, okay, so please do something for me as well. And then Kardamani said, don't worry, Devati. When I please the Lord, at that time the Lord instructed me that He will come as our son. So the Lord first appeared in the mind of Kardamuni. From Kardamuni's mind, he entered the mind of Devahuti, and from Devahuti, he entered the womb of Devahuti. And when the Supreme Lord was in the womb, at that time Brahma and other devatas, they could understand that the Lord has come, and they all went to greet the Lord, welcome the Lord, and they offered various prayers there. And at that time only, the marriage of the 9 daughters was fixed, because Brahmaji came with an agenda. Brahmaji had so many 9 rishis with him. So the 9 rishis got married to the 9 daughters of Kardam Muni, and then gradually Lord Kapila was born. And when Lord Kapila was born, Kardam Muni, he uh, went in a when he was sitting peacefully, when Lord Kapila was sitting peacefully, he goes and he offers his respectful obeisances to Kardam Muni. So to Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila, and she requests that, my dear son, uh, can you please take the responsibility of this, of your mother, and allow me to take sannyas, allow me to go. So Lord Kapila was also very pleased with his devotional service, that he gave him permission. And said, no, go and you can execute your devotional service, fixing your mind into me, and I will take care of my mother. So when Kardamuni departed, Devhuti, she, when Brahmaji came there, Brahmaji instructed Devhuti, that this Kapila Dev, Lord Kapila who has appeared, he is going to instruct you on the glories of devotional service. He is going to help you develop detachment from the material world and help you become attached to Krishna consciousness. So don't forget to inquire from him. So when Kardam Muni departed, so we will be discussing some of the teachings today. So when Kardam Muni departed, Mother Devhuti, she goes and offers her respects to Kapila Muni. He said that, my dear son, uh, you are the ultimate goal of life, and you are the supreme personality of Godhead. Brahmaji told me that I should inquire from you about the goal of life. So Devhuti, she went to Kapila Muni and she said, I am very sick. I am very sick because of the disturbance caused by material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the great ignorance. And she says that, my dear Lord, your Lordship is the only means. If one wants to get out of this cycle of birth and death, we are now in a human form of life. Gradually, we are getting into old age. You know, these are children. We were like this first before. We were like this. Then gradually, we became youth. Then we became aged. Now what is this is our age, and gradually we are heading towards old age. And gradually, one there will be a day when we'll give up our life. We'll die. And again, as per our destiny, whatever we have did in this very birth, that will decide our destiny. If we have lived the life like a demigod, we'll get the abode of the demigods. If you lived a life of a demonic person, troubling others, then one will be suffering in hellish life. If one has performed devotional service, then he will attain perfection. He will attain the spiritual world. So here, Devhuti is saying uh, that the transmigration is going on. Person goes to heavenly planets, again comes down. He goes to hellish planets, again comes up here, and then again he travels to 84 lakh species. Then he gets a human form. This transmigration goes on and on and on. It is said that for a soul to come out of this 84 lakh species once, it takes 1.25 crore years. For a jivatma, when it transmigrates from all these 84 lakh species and then finally he gets human form, this whole process is 1.25 crore years. Figure it out, how valuable human form is. And so she's saying that, your lordship is the only way to get out of this darkest region of ignorance. Can you see the can you see the dark region in our lives? How valuable the human form is? And can you see the dark? What is the dark region? What is the darkest region of our life? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Birth, death, old age and disease. We are now birth. We have taken birth. Now we are heading towards death. What is there in the between? Old age and disease. This is our life. So this is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukha, Doshan, Darshanam. So this is helping us understand the reality of the world. And if we are not performing devotional service, then the transmigration continues. Because the only way to get out of the cycle of birth and death is taking shelter of Lord Krishna, taking shelter of Lord Sri Hari, performing devotional service. So here Devhuti, she was lamenting. Why was she lamenting? That she could not take advantage of Kardam Muni's association. She served Kardam Muni, right? But when Kardam Muni came and was very pleased with her, what she asked for? Sense gratification. She wanted to go on a honeymoon with him. So they went. Kardam Muni was fine. Kardam Muni was not even tingly affected with the whole episode of enjoyment. That's how powerful he was. And when he left, Devhuti realized that she lost a big chance to get association from her husband. But now here is an opportunity. So you are my transcendental eye, O Kapila Muni, by which by your mercy only I have attained you after many, many births. One gets an opportunity to come in association with devotees after many, many births. It is not a rare, it is a rarest of the things. Ya adyo Bhagavan pumsam Ishvaro vai Bhagavan kilaha lokasya tamasandasya chakshu surya ivoditaha. So saying that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Supreme Lord of all the living entities, and you have arisen to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of the ignorance of the whole universe. You have come here to remove the darkness of the whole universe. That means remove the darkness in the life of the people who are living this universe. And she's further saying that now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great illusion. Please help me. Due to my false ego, I was engaged. I was engaged by your external energy, Maya. I was an illusion. And I used to consider my bodily relationship, my relationship with my husband and others as on the bodily platform. That was my problem. Please enlighten me now. Please help me. So Devhuti is saying that I'm taking shelter of your lotus feet, Kapila Bhagavan. What a fortune to have a son as the Supreme Lord. So, but still, she's not telling him that deliver me. Come on, I gave birth to you. Now do you deliver me? So मेरे को ज्ञान मैन सुनना नहीं है. I don't want to hear this knowledge. Why waste time? Just deliver me. No, she's not doing that. She's becoming the disciple of her own son. Shukadeva Goswami also accepted. He became a disciple of Vedavyasji. He heard Bhagavatam from Vedavyas. Then he delivered to Parikshit Maharaj. So here she is submitting herself to Lord Kapila Dev. I have taken shelter of a lotus feet because you are the only person of whom to take shelter. No devatas. She's not taking shelter of any devatas. She's not taking shelter of Brahma, Shiva, or any devatas. Why? Because she know that only the Supreme Lord can help me come out from the cycle of birth and death. Brahma's ayu is also 100 years. All the devatas also have the limited amount of time. Lord Shiva is transcendental, but other than that, everybody else is just a post. Just like we are here in the material world, we are in a job, or let's say we are in a job for a certain amount of time, so that's their job. Brahma is on a job. Devatas, Indra and all are on a job. So worshipping them is useless. Because what ultimate result will they will be able to award me? I want an ultimate goal of life. So I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to you. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. What is he saying? You are that axe which can cut my sansar bandhana. You know what is sansar bandhana? Hridaya granthi, entangled hearts. This in our heart there is attachment to this attachment to this material world. That is called as Hridaya granthi. Now, then further After hearing his mother's uncontaminated desire for transcendental realization, the Lord first of all thanked her and uh, and for her all her sincere questions, and he explained the path of transcendentalist. She started explaining the path of devotional service. He's saying, Yogadhyatmika pumsa mato nishresaya me antyanto paratir yatra dukkhasya cha sukhasya cha. So the Lord is saying that the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, yoga system. What is yoga? Linking with the Supreme. You would understand. What is yoga? When we called as, there are different kinds of jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, you know, and ashtanga yoga. There are different kinds of yoga. So what is yoga means? Yoga means connecting with the Supreme Lord. That is yoga. Huh? So the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, which is meant for the ultimate benefit of the living entity, and which causes detachment from the happiness and distress of the material world. It's called yoga. Basically, what is yoga? Yoga means connecting with the Supreme Lord and coming out of this uh, happiness and distress situations and transcending it and coming on the platform of devotional service. Further, Lord Kapila is saying, "Oh my pious mother, I want to explain you that ancient yoga system which I explained formerly to great sages. So I'll explain that to you." He's saying that the stage in which the consciousness of the living entity, listen carefully, the stage in which the consciousness of the living entity is attracted to the three modes of material nature is called conditional life. The stage in which the consciousness of a living entity is only thinking of the activities under the modes of material nature, gargrasti, thinking activities of the material world, my job, I want to get degrees. I want to earn. I want to become a millionaire. I want to buy a BMW. I want to buy a Mercedes. I want to have a house here. I want to have a house there. I want to marry a beautiful girl. The girl thing, I want to marry a beautiful husband, very handsome. This and that. He should have so many other things. And then I should have children. My children should have so much money. This and that. I want to attend that wedding, those wedding. I have to be with my relatives. I want to be like this. I like that. So all this consciousness, which a person has, is all related to this three modes of material nature is called conditioned life. And then, but when that same consciousness is attached to Krishna, when the same when the same consciousness is attached to Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called liberation. We are having a relationship with our wife, we are having a relationship with our children, we are having a relationship with our parents. Those are good, because we have to deal. We are in this world. We have this relationship that exists. So we have to respect that. But we should also know the ultimate relationship one should have is with Krishna. If you forget that and just maintain this, then that is conditioned life. But if you accept Krishna's, we should know that Jivera Sarup Hai Krishna Nitya Das, that I am the servant of the Lord, and all this is the family of Krishna. When that consciousness is there, that is life on the path of liberation. So, further, Kapila Dev is saying, when one is completely cleansed of the impurities of the lust and greed produced from the false identification of body as I and my bodily position as mine, unless and until we are in the material conception. What is material conception? I and mine. Me or mera. Hindi, in Hindi is me and mera. We have this conception. Everything in our consciousness, you right from you wake up till night, what is your conception? I and mine. Everything relationship is related to what will I get, what is mine. Isn't it? So Kapil Bhagwan is saying, when one is completely cleansed of this impurity, considering me and mine, this all and everything, the whole world of us circles around these two things, me and I and mine. So Kapil Bhagwan is saying, when one is cleansed of these impurities of the lust and greed, just produced from this false identification of I and mine, then one's mind becomes purified. When one realizes that nothing belongs to me, before I came, the whole world was there, and after I go, the world is going to exist. So where do things belong to you, Baba? Huh? We are just using it. We are just using it. हाँ? Temporary भाड़े पे हम लोग. We are all renting. But we think we are the owners. Somebody owns a house, and then you go. Suppose you go for for a job. You shift to US, for example. Somebody owns that house, and then you get it on rent. So you pay the rent per month. But then what happens gradually? The consciousness starts building up. This is my house. Then we buy a car on loan. We buy a very big car on loan. The car is mortgaged with the bank for so many years. But then what happens? You're using it. Initially, few days, the mindset is that, okay, the car is mortgaged, car is on loan. But gradually what happens? It switches. Consciousness switches. He thinks, sorry, car is mine. Huh? And then when some friends come, some relatives come, oh, this is my house. This is my car. This is the illusory world, Baba. Then we spend so much money has been spent, crores of money spent on the marriages, which doesn't last. 5,000 का खेल है. A marriage can happen in 5,000 rupees also. But people spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees in marriage. And after 15 days, we find that they are filing for divorce. This is the material world we are in. Which we are. Where are we? Where are we living? We have to think. We have to think. We have to open our eyes to the reality of the world. We are living in illusion, big illusion. And we don't want to come to reality. We want to remain in that illusion. And that is the reason of our suffering. And that's why Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the devotees, they help us. Here Kapila Muni is helping devotee to come out of that illusion of concept of my, I and mine. He's saying that first if one becomes purified from this conception of I and mine, in that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. When one is aware of this consciousness, when one is conscious of that this nothing belongs to me, I'm just on rent here. I'm just using these things so that I can survive. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. Further, he is saying, at that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental to material existence. We think this body is mine. We think this body is mine, but you and this body are different. Isn't it? When a person dies, what happens? The body to which, let's say, the body is still there, lying dead on the ground. Your friend's body, with whom you have been spending years. But he is dead. So what is missing in that? That soul is gone. Consciousness is missing. So what does that mean? That body and soul are different. So at that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental to material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, although even minute in size. So we should know this. How will we know this? By performing devotional service. Jnana vairaga yuktena bhakti yogena chatmanaha. In that situation, when this is the basic understanding that we are not this body, we are spirit, soul, and then the conception of I and mine. These are the basic things of understanding path of spiritual life, path of self-realization. These are the basic things of understanding Krishna consciousness. What is Kapila Bhagavan saying? That in that state, that is the state of in position of self-realization to some extent. In that state of self-realization, by the practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in right perspective. When one has proper knowledge, proper understanding, then for him he is not in the illusion. He does every activity with proper state of mind. He doesn't live in illusion anymore. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully on him. The influence of the material world also comes less on him, because now he is opening his eyes. He's coming from tamsoma jyotirgamaya. He's coming from darkness to ignorance, darkness to light. Gradually, gradually. Completely new, eh? Gradually, gradually it's happening. And further, perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi. There are so many people in the world in the name of yoga, in the name of spiritual life. They're doing so many things, so many tamasha they're doing. So many propaganda are there, so many yogis, they're making business out of it. But the perfection in self-realization will not come even if you give thousands and thousands of pounds or euros to someone. There are people in the world who are in the name of yoga, they have started big, big businesses. And they tell, we will make you God. We'll make you God realized. So all these businesses are going on. Kapil Bhagwan is saying that perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in the devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the only auspicious path. That is the only auspicious path. Baki sab pakhanda hai. It's a big hoax. All the other, if Krishna taking shelter of the Supreme Personality exclusively, if a yogi is a devotee, if he is taking shelter of the Lord, and if he is instructing people to take shelter of Lord, then he is proper. This is what happens. There are people who say sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So there are yogis who say, oh Baba, I am saying this Bhagavad Gita now, I am reciting this verse, so surrender to me. That yogi is telling, I am the God now. When there is a pain in his tooth, he has to run to the doctor, and he is a God. He doesn't have hair on his head, he's a God. So this kind of illusion has been created by so-called people, and there are people who follow that also. So we should know, that's why Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, one should take shelter of these literatures, read them scrutinizingly, and understand what is the actual path of self-realization. So Kapil Bhagwan is saying that every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement for the spirit soul. Every intelligent man knows. If you are on the path of if you are on the path of spiritual path, then what is the greatest entanglement is the material world. But that same attachment, if it is applied to the self-realized devotees, we are attached to this world, but the same attachment is for the devotees of the Lord. It opens the door to liberation. Now one might say, who is this devotee whom Kapila Devi is asking that we should become attached to? Titakshva karunika saharada sarvadehinam ajada shatrava shanta sadhava sadhu bhushana. Now what is the definition of a sadhu? There are so many sadhus in this world who claim to be sadhus. There is something called a genuine sadhu, and there are people who are claiming to be sadhus. But Shastra is giving the definition of what is a sadhu. What are the symptoms of a sadhu? The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, he is merciful, he is friendly to all living entities, he has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Shuddha Hridaya, pure unalloyed devotee, no dark spot in his life. And then he further says that such a sadhu, what does he do? You saw the symptoms. But what does he do? Such a sadhu engages in the staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces everything. For the sake of attaining the Supreme Lord, he renounces everything, all the connections, for his family life, all the connections, his friends, acquaintances, everything in this world. Then, engaged, what does he do? He engages constantly in chanting and hearing about me, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the sadhus do not suffer from material miseries. They when they are always remembering me, thinking of me, they do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with the thoughts of my pastimes, my activities. So there is no suffering for such people. Because they are always thinking of me, there is no suffering for them. And oh my mother, these are the qualities of a great devotee who are free from attachment. So Kapil Dev is saying that we shall all take shelter of such sadhus and perfect our life. And then further, Lord Kapila, he further narrates the Sankhya philosophy, and then in which he explains about the fundamental principles of material nature, how understanding the material nature, and then further he inserts about execution of devotional service, and then he explains about fruitive activities and then the movements of the living entities. So Lord Kapila has explained about the about when a child is in the womb of a mother. So all that exact 9 months, what happens till the child comes out. Lord Kapila has given this thousands of years before, and it's in the Bhagavatam. The scientists they are finding things now, but everything what happens in the womb of the mother, everything is revealed. It's there in the scriptures in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then uh, he expresses about the entanglements in the fruitive activities, and in this way, Lord Kapila explains and helps Mother Dehuti attain self-realization. So I just gave a summary of the third canto. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, we can take those. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you for the lecture, Prabhu. I have a very simple question. My question is, do we know where the places are where Karama Muni had his building and all that stuff? And
Kardamun is, it was in the aerial mansion, Baba.
yeah, but the place, do we know?
On the banks of river Saraswati,
Yeah.
uh, there is a place. If you go on Google, type Bindu Sarovar,
Mhm.
and you will find that exact place.
Okay.
Okay. Bindu Sarovar, because that place still exists.
Thank you, Guru.
Yes, Roger.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the interesting session. I've heard it, probably could be wrong, that if the husband performs devotional service, 50% of his credits goes to his wife. So, in the case of Kardama Muni, wouldn't Devahuti already be liberated since Kardama Muni was pious himself or realized himself?
That because of 50% only she was sitting in front of Lord Kapila Dev. Because of the strength of the devotional service of Kardamuni only, she was fortunate to have Lord Kapila as her son.
She should separately endeavor for
Uh,
self-realization.
what?
She should then separately endeavor for self-realization.
Everybody now try to understand 50% doesn't mean that 50% or 50% goes like that, you know. It is that the wife has all the share in the husband's wealth, in the material world also. The wife has all the, if they plan to separate, then the wife has all the share in the wealth of the husband. So here the wealth of the husband is Krishna consciousness, the attachment to the Lord, right? So that is the wealth here. And so she has natural share on that, adhikar on that, because she has served her husband. So when you serve someone, when you serve a spiritual master, then naturally uh, the wealth of the spiritual master is available to you. Here, when the wife serves the husband, then if the husband is a devotee, naturally the wealth of the husband is available to the wife as well. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, we will end. Thank you so much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki